Hey guys, this is Jenna with Hill Valley Farm, and I am here with yet another update. So let's get started. So when we were talking last, Risky was in labor, and she had ended up having 4 beautiful kids, and she had 3 does and 1 buckling. And so we were so excited to add to that ratio of doelings, and they are so incredibly precious. So let's go ahead and let you guys meet them now. Okay, so first up, the little flashy one right here. This is number 1. He is a buckling, and he is gorgeous. We have named him Hill Valley. Deuces are wild, and we call him Deuce, and he is just so sweet and beautiful, and he's just, I don't know, he's got a really sweet just personality about him. I have someone that's trying to do some photo bombing here, but anyways, so this is Deuce. Second born is the one that's trying to do this photo bomb. This is Hill Valley. She is really attached to me. Roll the dice, and little bitty dice here was itty bitty. I'll show you guys a picture. But when she was born, I mean, she was fine. You know, at first she held that temp and did really good, but then it just got to be too much for her. So we'll talk a little bit more about her in a minute, but this is Dicey, or Dice, as we are calling her, and she is being retained. The third, I'm going to have to, get up here because she's worth the wait. All right, the third is this beautiful girl. And this is Hill Valley. Watch this madness. And as you can see, she is gorgeous, and she's a big, powerful doeling. I really love the way she looks. And she's really friendly. And so, but yes, so we are calling her Maddie. And so and you can see the difference between Dice and Maddie, the size difference. It's unbelievable. Let me see if I can get her up here next to Dice. So you can see the difference. But she's gorgeous. None of them are polled. They are disbudded. Now, little Dice here is having to get disbudded today. So, we don't enjoy that, but it is a necessity. And last but not least at all is this little girl. And this is Hill Valley Luck of the Draw. Now, if ever there was a goat attached to her mother, Moon Dance is really attached to Mayflower. Lucky, we're calling her Lucky, is really attached to Risky, and she's a mama's girl. Beautiful girl. Of course, she's not standing the way you stand to set up, but she has width to her, length to her, and she's just a really remarkable doe. Now, Lucky and Deuce here are both going to live in Iowa, and so that's exciting. And they will be with Coco and Schuster. So all 4 of them are going together. We love it when that happens, just because it's just easier to transition when they are all together. Now, Risky had, a long labor. It was rather long, but once she started pushing her and her water broke, she basically spit them out like Pez dispenser. It was crazy fast. It was so fast, we really were having a hard time keeping up. And she was pushing out the third one when Deuce and Dice were being dried off, and I really couldn't get to her. And so Caden ended up helping just a little bit, just to, because Maddie was a big goat. She really is a big doe. He did assist, and that was his first time ever, like, helping to pull while she pushed. And so that's a big deal for Caden. But Risky, she's just amazing. I love her so much. I'm talking about you. And she had them, and it was right after chores. I had literally said, okay, Risky, we're done with chores, you can start pushing now. And she did. So she listened. It's rare they do that. And so it wasn't super late, but it wasn't, during daytime. So it was very chilly. We were in a cold snap. We knew that this was going to happen. And so little Dice here, she just couldn't hold that temp up, as she should. And as you can see, she's fine now. But at first she did okay. I checked her throughout the night. But then as the next day progressed, she just continued to decrease in her temp. And so what I did, I created a makeshift, like, incubator, if you will, and using one of our utility totes that we take whenever it's time for kidding. And there were towels in there, and I put her on top of the towels and covered it with a towel and put our hair dryer in there and just warmed her up that way. And it worked. I could get it up, and then she could eat. I gave her Jump Start. She did really well. So that's something that we did off and on all day long. And then I did it half the night. And then at the end of the, like, midnight, I said, well, I'm going to have to take her in, because she got really low, and it was so cold. And so I took her in, put her on the heating pad, again, warmed her up really well. Put her on the heating pad so maybe she stabilized. And she did. She ended up stabilizing over the night with her temp. And I fed her through the night. I was really afraid, because once you take them away from their dam, it's just really hard to get them back. But Risky was such a sweetheart with her. She watched after her. She let her nurse. She never, ever, ever rejected her. And as you can see, she plays with her brother and sisters. She's around Risky, and Risky she never ever makes her go away. In fact, she actually will push other kids away from Dice. And so, hello, sweet man. So that's a really big deal. They are officially 2 weeks old. And yes, I'm 2 weeks behind, but that's how it goes when you have so many kids and so many milkers. So they did really well. They were born on March 25th, 2022. And like I said, they're just doing really well. Watch her see. And what's so comical, Dice looks very similar to Risky, especially in the face. And where Risky is white, Dice is gold. It's so funny. And so there's a few moon spots on her, but not very many, and that's okay. Sometimes the less is better because they throw more. But with that said, Risky just did phenomenal. We are really, really happy with her. I actually separated them. Of course, Dice comes in the house at night just because she's so little compared to all the other goats. But her siblings were separated from Risky last night, and I got to see her fill this morning, and it was, everything that I ever dreamed it would be. So I'm so happy about that. And I cannot wait until the show season. It's going to be really good. So we're excited about that. But that is Risky. And like I said, 2 are retained and 2 are going to live in Iowa. So we are, I am, believe it or not, already looking at breeding plans for next year. So if that's something that you're interested in, you might want to go ahead and get on reservation list for this girl right here, because they go really fast. So anyways, with that said, that was Risky.